Hi students, so in the last video recording I went through and explained what we are going to be doing with this product research and review project. In this video I want to go through and explain the rubric to you, talk about the checklist, and because I've already went over the learning objectives in the last video, in this one I'm just going to quickly read through them to you. So that's the goal of this video. So let's begin. Product research and review rubric. Learning objectives. I can understand how to write a claim and use the research process to find valid information that answers it. I can learn to identify key details that contribute to the main idea of a given text and summarize it with the central message. I can understand how to distinguish between objective and biased information. I can understand how to integrate or synthesize information. And lastly, I can synthesize information and convey an organized, persuasive message for my choice audience. And then you'll see down below, these are the standards that are connected to your learning objectives. Moving on to your checklist, and before I go through and read the checklist to you, I just want to point out that this checklist will be a valuable tool for you throughout the process. Throughout this research process, so go back, refer to it, make sure you're not missing any steps along the way, and then again at the very end, go through and measure the student checklist against what you've done to make sure you're not missing any important steps. So looking at the checklist, I have written a claim and used the research process to seek valid information that answers it. I have used reading strategies to identify key details that support the main idea of a text and summarize the central message in my own words. I have discerned between bias and objective information throughout the research project. And when we're talking about that, when you look at some of the reviews for the product that you're looking at, some of the reviews you're going to notice are biased. Okay, but then again, you also have to find some sites that are independent. And when I say that, again, that just means that the producers or makers of these sites that are going through and evaluating particular products, they have nothing to lose or gain by conveying this information to consumers. It's just to give truthful, objective information. Okay, and so you're going to need to go through two of those. You're going to need to look at two of those throughout this research process. Next on the checklist, I have created a review that combines the information most relevant and necessary to my research claim. I have put together or synthesized all my research findings in a coherent manner appropriate to the assigned task and audience. Okay, and that task is going to be to look up a product and check out the reviews and make an informed decision about it. And your audience is, of course, your teacher and your choice, depending upon who you're going to be conveying this message to. Looking down here below, we have our rubric. Okay, so at the very top, you're going to see a grade and a score category, and it's broken down: advanced, mastery, emerging, beginning, insufficient evidence. Okay, so this project is worth 30 points, and then you can see a breakdown. Okay, so here for the emerging beginning, between a C and a D, you're going to see the different point variances. And then again for insufficient evidence, it really depends on what you are showing that you do have. Okay, so the goal of this is for you to meet those learning targets. So this rubric is going to show you, right? It's going to show you, as your teacher's checking off and looking and measuring against the rubric in your work, it's going to show you what you've mastered up to this point. And here we have the criteria above, and I'm going to read through each particular criterion to you. So the first one you'll see is research claim, and then if you look at the bottom, you're going to notice the points. So the first four criterions here are worth 5 points. The last one is worth 10. Okay, so a bit of a difference there that I just want to point out to you. So again, research claim. Student independently generated a well-written, focused claim about a product. Okay, that's your first criterion. Second criterion is research process. Student uses the research process by investigating multiple sources, at least 5, And then in parentheses, you're going to see here that it says at least 2 independent reviews, and I've already explained what an independent review is. And is able to identify or discern objective and biased information. And again, that goes along with, you're going to be reading some reviews and you might find some disgruntled customers about particular products, and you're going to know that yes, maybe some of the information that that particular person is saying is true, but you're also going to probably find a bit of exaggeration, right? Or you might find that a company is trying to sell its product, and so some of the things that they say about a particular product, again, may be exaggerating the benefits of that product. And we see this all the time. We encounter it all the time in media, in commercials, in advertisement billboards, magazines. We encounter this all the time. And our job is just to be savvy consumers of media. And this project is going to help us in that step. Okay, the next criterion, evaluation of evidence. Student logically reasons the evidence from research findings to support review of product. Integration of evidence is your next criterion. Student integrates information from different sources seamlessly and ideas flow in the persuasive letter. And then the last one, the big one here, where it's worth 10 points, growth and synthesis of materials. Students' final product is mostly free from errors and appropriate to audience. Students' final product reflects significant growth in synthesizing their own ideas with the new content learned in all parts of the project. There we go. And so that is it. Okay, again, you'll note the points down here, each criterion up above. These are your demonstrated learning targets. These are what you're trying to master. All right. Now, one thing I want to point out that you're going to have access to is the different levels. Okay, so here we have an A, here we have a B, and this is also a B here. So these are the different categories. And if you go through, and again, I want you to read this on your own, you're going to see that there are nuances, right? There are differences among each category. Okay. This rubric over here is giving you, for each learning target here, this would be for an A. Okay. However, you're going to have access to this one as well. And when you look at this one, you're going to see, okay, this is the difference between an A and a B, right? A high B. All right. Here to here. This is a B as well, but perhaps it's a bit closer to a C+. Okay, so I just want you to know that you're going to have that, you're going to have access to this, so you can go back and look at that information for yourself. Okay, hopefully this information helps you. Thank you for listening.